Stop. That was quick. Wait a minute. Doop doop doop. Doop. There we go. So the stream's up and running. Fantastic. And we should be getting underway very, very shortly. Only 15 drivers here today. Bit short in comparison to previous races. Oh, no, 16. There we go. Someone's joined late. Let me guess. Yep. Then first comment, it's always that. But let's get this thing underway, shall we? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 19 of the PS4 Americas Series here on Spec Esports. The third last round in the championship. The United States Grand Prix here at Circuit of the Americas. 5.51 kilometers or 3.4 miles and 20 turns make up this circuit. Created back in 2012 as a means to rekindle the relationship between Formula One and the United States. Circuit, although it's a telcodrome, it's actually not a bad track. It sort of takes aspects of very famous parts of other circuits and tries to put them in to this track and try and create something new, something a bit different. I mean, the obvious parts, you've got Sector 1, the S's, which is pretty much a carbon copy of the Maggots and Beckett section from Silverstone. You've got Turkey's Turn 8 in the forms of Turn 16, 17 and 18. You've got the Buddha hairpin, if you remember that track, the Indian Grand Prix, up at Turn 11, except it doesn't narrow on corner exit. It stays constant width all the way through the corner entry and corner exit. And a sort of arena section from Hockenheim that makes up turns 12, 13, 14 and 15. If you want to sort of if you loosen your mind a little bit, you can kind of see the arena section from Hockenheim, or at least it was supposed to take inspiration from the arena section at Hockenheim. It's not a bad track in real life. It's developed some famous races, the most famous of which in 2018, where Kimi Räikkönen took probably his last victory in Formula One. Quite a popular victory as well. Let's see. Who's the first driver out on a flying lap? I wonder. We'll get telemetry, lap data, track map. So it is being sandwiched, the first driver out on a flying lap. Rather, a out lap. Some of the features about the circuit. The key corners around here, definitely turn 1 and turn 12 for overtaking. They come immediately after DRS zones. Some other overtaking opportunities would be in the form of this corner here, turn 11. You can try and send it up the inside, try and get the position, and then get the advantage of having DRS as well after making the overtake. Another one could be turn 15. Quite possibly the slowest corner on the circuit, just before the triple right-hander. The normal racing line, and I'm sure being sandwiched will demonstrate for us on just this outlap of how to take the racing line through turn 15. Let's see. So we come through here, turn 14 here. This is turn 15. You take a naturally wide line, and drivers sometimes see the opportunity to send it down the inside. The only problem is you're on the outside for the triple right-hander of this, turn 16, 17 and 18. Turn 19 you have to be aware of because of the blind apex. The apex just comes over a crest, so you won't be able to see corner entry. And in qualifying you have to be aware of turn 20, the final corner, because of the sun blinding you, burning your eyes out. So yeah, you have to be a bit careful of that. Turn 1, a 40-meter climb, 40.5 meter climb from the start finish line all the way up to the apex of turn 1. It's a very, very big climb. Turn 2, flat out right-hander, now into the S's, probably the most demanding part of the circuit. It is super easy to get a warning through here and to invalidate your time in qualifying and to pick up penalties during the race. Turn 7 into turns 8 and 9, an uphill right-left section to begin sector 2. Into turn 10, another blind corner as it comes over a crest. Into turn 11, 75 meter board is about where you need to start braking, halfway between the 50 and the 100. And he'll get DRS and a nice little tow from his teammate, Alpern, who I will mention in a little bit, because he's in a championship dogfight between himself and Fass. That I'll explain just in not too distant future. That will end Sector 2 in the beginning of Sector 3 into turn 15. Third gear, okay. Try and really minimise wheel spin. Into the triple right-hander. Takes it very nicely. Got a car on the outside. Not too much of a problem. Into turn 19. Then to round out the lap, turn 20. Takes the apex quite nicely. Up through the gears. Across the line, a 1 minute 32.864. And that was on the medium tyre as well. The strategy on this circuit is soft to medium. I have seen drivers make the mediums to hards work, but I think soft to medium is definitely the go-to strategy. But it's time to talk about these men. BRT Fass and SMM Alp. They're in a championship dogfight of a lifetime. 5 points separate the two drivers coming into this round after Alpern got victory in Mexico, with Fass coming in P2. 3 rounds remaining and a theoretical 78 points on the table. The championship is very much alive between these two. They're definitely the drivers we have to look out for in this Grand Prix. Matthew Dernier is mathematically in contention on 75 points behind Fass, with the theoretical 78 points you can score. But his chances are incredibly low, so it's more or less two-way fight, a two-horse fight between Fass and Alpern. Speaking of Fass, he's coming around the final corner to complete his first flying lap. It's a 1 minute 30.866. Well clear of the likes of Andre in purple and being sandwiched. Being sandwiched obviously on the medium timer as Alpern beats Fass's time. Oh boy, a 1 minute 30.819. Half a tenth of a second separating the two championship rivals. Seriously close between these two. I hope it stays like that for the race. It will be super to watch, I think. I think Latouf is currently on a lap coming down the back straightaway. Well, back straightaway in quotation marks. It's not really a back straightaway as it faces perpendicular to the pit straight. Racer P10 with a 30-second time penalty. Well, if Mexico's anything to go by, I think that might be right. This track is a lot worse in terms of track extending than Mexico, particularly through that first sector. It is stupidly easy to just track extend and gather warnings. It's really, really easy. So penalties will 100% play a part in this race. I'm almost certain of it. As the Alfa Romeo driver coming around the final corner now, it's a 1 minute 33.8. A lot of the guys, it seems, they're just getting the feel of the car at the moment. They're just putting on mediums just to get the feel, just get their eye in, and then they'll probably switch to the softs and try and set flying laps right at the end of the session. Someone was very sorry. It was Kimi coming out of turn 15, just having a little moment. Luckily he was by himself. Let's see, Matthew Dernier, he'll be another driver we'll look out for in this race. He has shown exceptional pace across the course of the season. I'm sure he's got something up his sleeve for this race. Been looking for a top 3 finish and for a race win in the past couple of races, and I'm very sure he's capable of doing so. We'll let the Ferrari man take us on a lap around this circuit. See how Matthew Dernier operates around himself around Circuit of the Americas. Coming out of the final corner in 4th gear. Very interesting. Trying to use the torquey side of the engine. Try and get the power down. Up the massive climb into turn 1. Definitely one of the most unique turn 1s in all of motorsport, let alone Formula 1. Through turn 2 into the S's, 3, 4. then into turn 5. Cuts turn 5 nicely, into the double apex right-hander of 6, then into turn 7, clips the apex quite nicely. He goes purple in sector 1. Then the uphill climb through 8 and 9, the understeer through 8, it's cost him through there. He's going to continue on with the lap though. Into turn 11, that mysterious 75 meter board is where you need to brake for that corner. Hard on the accelerator, 4th, 5th, 6th gear, into 7th. DRS open. 8th gear, climbing towards 330 kilometers per hour. 2nd gear to get that extra rotation. It's a nice technique to learn in this game, is to use lower gears at corner apexes to try and get that extra rotation. That extra rotation will just allow you to get onto the accelerator a little bit earlier without you spinning out. The idea is to straighten the car out as quickly as possible. When all 4 wheels are pointing in the straight line, you're able to put more of the accelerator down. You're effectively able to floor it. Through the final corner, of which he's missed the apex of, it's a 1 minute 32.8. I'm sure he'll be kicking himself over the course of that lap. There were quite a number of mistakes. He is capable of a lot more, and that's very clear to see. Seems that Andre is on a flying lap. Coming through the 2nd sector. There's a yellow flag. It's just a slow car, that's alright. Coming over the crest where Sebastian Vettel's car broke is probably the best way of describing it, really. Complete suspension failure. Excuse me. Coming over the crest. Coming down the back straightaway. He's got his teammate in front. He's on an outlap, and that's very well conducted by the Red Bull team, somewhat similar to the Racing Point team on their first flying lap, so very well done. Just a little toe, that's all it needs to be. Just to gain those extra tenths of a second on the straight. Through the triple right-hander. 7th gear. Into the blind corner of turn 19. Sort of an IndyCar line, abusing the track limits on the right hand side. Across the line, so 32.4. He doesn't actually improve, interesting. BRT fast. Championship leader by 5 points on a flying lap. See how he conducts himself over this course. Through turn 6, a double apex right-hander. Turn 7 into turn 8. This is where Matthew got into trouble. Got a whole heap of understeer through turn 7. Oh, sorry, no, turn 8. Effectively ruined the run through 8 and 9 and lost him a whole heap of time. Through turn 11. Climbing up through the gears again. DRS open. Just the 1 yellow flag, just a slow car. Hard on the brakes here. 50 meter board, very hard on the brakes. 2nd gear, then short shifts to 3rd. 4th gear, 5th gear, down to 2nd. There we go, and short shifts. Oh, to 4th, okay. Interesting. Uses 1st gear at turn 15. Then short shifts to 3rd. And here we go, into turn 19. You can see there, you can't see the corner apex, and he's invalidated. Unbelievable. I didn't think he cut that much, but apparently he did. Let's see, does he improve? He does, only just though. And fast, a little bit of a weave there. Just made a little mistake, that's all it was. As Mikmako, P4, well done. Skyrockets up into the top 5. Hopefully we'll see a couple of drivers that we don't usually get to see on stream just have a nice battle during the race. I love seeing the midfield scrap it out for midfield points. It's always good to watch. It's just, unfortunately for them, I've also got a championship battle to watch as well. I'm hoping we'll see some good action between those fellas. Kimi currently on a flying lap. Through sector 2, up through the gears, DRS open again. Sector 1 and 2 yellow flags. I think that's just Racer. He's on an in-lap at the moment. No, he's on a flyer. No, on an in-lap. I'm sure he's on an in-lap. Got a slow car in the third sector. One of the McLarens just pulling off to the side, letting other cars through. Good sportsman-like driving. Through turn 15 into the triple right-hander. There's the apex there. You run a little bit wide. You bring the car as far as you can to the right. Hit the apex for turn 19. And he comes in. Okay. Oh, dearie me. Now, I've done that. I am not ashamed in saying that. I've crashed at pit entry during a qualifying session as well. It is really easy to do, to just overshoot it, because the pit entry narrows quite a bit. So the corner that you take for pit entry tightens up, and you don't prepare yourself for it. Sometimes. I do now after making that accident. But yeah, I've done it a couple of times where I just go a little bit too quick. It's not by much, but it's enough so then the car sort of misses the corner exit and you smash yourself head first into the pit lane entry. I am no stranger to that. I have done it at least once. I'm sure I've done it more than once, but I remember doing it once. He's purple in Sector 2, Matthew Dernier. Currently in P12. Third gear. Out of turn 15. Into turn 16, 17 and 18. Looking good. This is where a couple of drivers have come unstuck. But no, Matthew gets through it very nicely. Takes the final corner well. Into 1 minute 31.6. Basically on level terms with Bean Sandwich, who's going to begin another flying lap. Will this be his last? I don't think so. Oh, it might be. Alpine pulling off to the side to let the McLaren through. He has to try and get a move on if he wants to try and give his teammate a tow. There's a Ferrari off in the second sector. That I'm pretty sure that's Matthew, as JFD is in the pits. Alpine just trying to line himself up. Now he has to be careful because he is generating dirty air and Bean Sandwich is driving himself into it. But here we go. This is how the Racing Point guys conduct themselves. And if I was the other teams, I'd be taking notes. Because it's working. They're first and third at the moment. And one driver that might screw that up, is that Laquito? It is. He's on a flying lap. And he's pretty much entitled to stay on that flying lap. And around the outside. Okay. Bean Sandwich didn't lose too much time. I'm sure Laquito did lose a little bit. It's probably best for his sake that he sort of backs out unless Alpine passed. Alpine's really backed off. So he won't be getting a tow from his teammate. Okay. Oh, he might. As Bean Sandwich jumps up to P2. A 1 minute 30.858. So Sandwich basically has to stop somewhere if he wants to try and give his teammate a tow. And that's something that the Mercedes team don't have today either. Matthias is absent, so Fass is all by himself in the Mercedes garage. Oh, hang on a minute. What is this? Matthew Dernier and a Toro Rosso. Is that Mick? No, it must be Flavius. Both stopped on circuit. Okay, interesting. So Laquito and Bean Sandwich have gotten past. Oh, and into the back. Oh, my word. Bean Sandwich. And a 5 grid place penalty as well. A collision between him and Laquito. Now, I'm sure... probably probably the nicest way to put it is that Being Sandwich was trying not to brake too early to make Alpine sort of slow up on his flying lap. But he had the McLaren right in front of him. Yeah, interesting. It is very interesting. As Alpine, he's coming through the final 2 corners. What's this time going to look like? A mid-30 perhaps? Here we go, across the line. It's a 30.6. He does improve. Fast, he's only improved by 1/100th of a second. Now 6/100ths of a second. This will put him up into P2. But he needs to find something magical in the 3rd sector in order to try and get pole position. Through the triple right-hander, 16, 17 and 18. Low on fuel, using all the ERS he can. Through 19, he slightly missed the apex there. Only slight. Through turn 20. And across the line, it's a 1 minute... Oh, he actually lost time in the 3rd sector. He will start from P... Oh no, he'll start from P2 regardless, as Being Sandwich has got a 5 grid place penalty. And Macedonia will start from P3, LAS Purple will start from P4, and Racer will start P5, Being Sandwich will start in P6. Oh, sorry, who's that? That jumped up. Kimmy, in the Red Bull, hello. And Andre, what about Andre? Where does he come into it? Oh, okay. Andre went into the pits. Typically, he has fairly strong qualifying, Andre, in the Red Bull. Not today, though. It's his teammate. He vaults up to P4. So Alpine will start on pole position, but we saw the contact between Being Sandwich and Liquito at turn 11. And as a result of that, Being Sandwich will start from 7th place on the grid. So Fast will start 2nd. ASDF Kimmy will start from P3, Macedonia P4, LAS Purple P5, Racer P6, Being Sandwich will start from 7th, JFD P8, Latouk P9, and Mick McCoat will round out the top 10. And all of the drivers in the top 10 will be starting on the soft compound tyre. Now, I wonder what the weather's going to be like for this American Grand Prix, because it does tend to rain here at COTA. Rain is definitely not a stranger to this place. It might explain why all of the drivers are starting on the softs. It's a bit overcast but fairly clear, so it's just because of strategy. They're most likely going to do the soft to medium strategy, I do imagine. A couple of drivers outside of the top 10 will probably start on the medium tyre just to try something different. Try and go long in the first stint and sort of pray that there isn't a safety car to shake things up. But the session counter counts down. Drivers will be selecting tyre strategy, at least for the drivers outside of the top 10. Drivers will be fine-tuning their setups, fine-tuning the fuel load. We'll get this race underway. Another thing that drivers have to worry about that I haven't mentioned about this circuit is how difficult it is to manage tyre temperatures. It is very difficult. It's not as difficult as, let's say, Singapore on the soft tyre. Singapore soft tyre just doesn't work. Here it's a bit more manageable, but it's still quite difficult. Let's get all this stuff up. So let's see what the drivers outside of the tent. They're all starting on the softs. Is that an indication there might be rain towards the end of the race? Towards sort of the mid part of the race? Definitely doesn't look like it. There is cloud cover, but I wouldn't say it was overcast enough for there to be wet weather. But we'll have to wait and see. But this may prove to be critical. Alpine will start from pole position, and Fast will start in P2. Now, out of all the streams that I've done here at this place, it seems the car that starts in P2 tends to get the lead after turn 1. It always seems to be like that, because P2 has the inside line. P1 gets the racing line and the more grippier surface, but P2 has the inside line and has the ability to send it up the inside into turn 1. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if Fast takes the lead going into turn 1 and coming through turn 2. I wouldn't be at all surprised. It'll be interesting to see how the rest of the field negotiate turn 1. It tends to be a bit of a car park. Hopefully we won't see any sort of accidents through there. But again, I wouldn't be at all surprised. It really is a car park through turn 1 for the midfield. And it's even worse through the S section in Sector 1. When you've got drivers going through there side by side, it tends to get a little bit messy. Got a couple of drivers ghosting through Alpine. A neat feature in this game at least, when your car parks up on the grid, you don't lose tyre temperature. So even if you're the last car on the grid and you decide to do something cheeky like do a really long formation lap, the cars on the grid won't lose tyre temperature. It's quite a nice feature that I didn't realise that was in this game, but yeah, apparently it's a thing. But the drivers are now all lined up back on the grid, and we're going to get this race underway. 28 laps here at Circuit of the Americas. The third last round of this championship. We have 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. And it seems that Fass has gotten an awesome start, as I thought. Into turn 1, down the inside, he takes the lead of the American Grand Prix. Matthew Dernier follows him through. So Alpine has lost 2 positions from the start, heading through the S's now. We got some side-by-side action. That's purple in the Renault rather, but it seems everyone gets through relatively okay. No one's spun out. No one's had a massive crash. Oh, I say too soon though. Dearie me, that's Laquito. He has had a moment at the end of the second sector. A big accident. Luckily, he hasn't collected anyone else, though. Into turn 11. Fass, still leading the way, has opened up a 6 and a bit tenth margin over Matthew Dernier. An excellent start for the Ferrari man. But here comes Alpine, is it? It is. No, it's being sandwiched. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong group of cars. Racer moves himself up into P5, being sandwiched into P6. Being sandwiched overtaking the Ferrari of JFD. That's why I got so confused. Got LAS Purple in P8, Captain Schmeg in P9, and Latouf in P10. Both Alphas in the top 10, both Racing Points in the top 10, both Ferraris in the top 10 as well. And Andre just outside of it after a not so great qualifying performance from where he typically is. He's very much in the midfield battle a lot of the time. I'm sure he'll be able to claw his way through the field. But lap 1 has been completed and been sandwiched down the inside. Racer tries to get the switchback around the outside of turn 2. Can he hold it there? Yes, he tries. There might have been a little bit of contact. Oh, and the back end is absolutely everywhere on that Williams. And somehow he pulls it up. There's a little bit of contact between him and the Ferrari. Oh, misses turn 7 into turn 8. That's the problem with this track. Once you start losing it, it is very difficult to get it back. Racer managed to, but in turn lost so much time to being sandwiched that he's now outside of DRS range. And contact between him and the Ferrari. Little bit of a bump. JFD trying to create an opportunity, and he moves himself into P6. Here comes LAS Purple in the Renault. There's Captain Schmeg in the background. Does he go for it? Down the inside into turn 12. Not quite. But Purple gets a move done on Racer. Racer moves down to P8. All that was one little mistake in the S's, and in turn it's cost him 2 positions and a whole heap of time. Down the inside into turn 15. Like I said, drivers like that corner. They like to send it down the inside. Now I saw an end plate come off. Or at least I thought that was an end plate. One of the drivers in the background. Some sort of debris flying around the circuit. Lap 3 begins and DRS has been enabled. We've got sort of these groups formed in the field. We've got the top 3. Rather the top 4. Kimi is still hanging on to the back of these 3. He is within a second of Alpine, so if he stays there, he'll get DRS. Bean Sandwich is sort of by himself. Then we've got JFD, Racer, Captain Schmeg, LAS Purple, and Andre. Andre is a little bit behind Purple. He's got his own train of cars he has to deal with through the first and second sector S's. So relatively okay, the midfield. Purple hunting down Captain Schmeggy. I thought he got a really good run through the S's. Hasn't quite got the straight line speed of the Alfa Romeo, it seems. Into the hairpin of turn 11. Racer slightly missing the apex, and he's now vulnerable to Captain Schmeg. He's going to gain a position out of it using the DRS and a bit of the slipstream. He moves on by the Williams into P7. And does Purple follow? He's late on the brakes, but he can't find the door to move himself into P8. Good scrap between these guys in the midfield. Very great to watch. We'll move back up to the race leaders, shall we? Fass is still leading. Matthew Dernier in P2. Alpum in P3. Kimi in P4. And he's still hanging on to the back of these guys. He hasn't completely disappeared. He's got DRS as well, which is quite a nice little bonus there. Sector 2 yellow flags. That's the Quito. Completely destroyed front wing. Virtual safety car has been deployed because of it. The driver's bunching up. Going to try and come into the pit lane. A very awkward place to go off. Seems like he's run head on into the wall at turn 11. But now we just get to settle everything down. DRS has been re-enabled, and Dernier's got an excellent restart. He'll get DRS, but will he get the move done into turn 11? Fast goes defensive. Into turn 11. That's the problem with the Delta on virtual safety cars. It is difficult to manage. DRS. Open. Will he look to the inside? Into turn 12. I think he will. Will Alpum follow? Will Fass lose 2 positions? No, he won't. He will lose only 1. Will he get the switch back on Matthew? Into turn 13, then turn 14. He hangs it around the outside, which in turn gives him the inside for turn 15. But if Matthew can hold it there, which he does, he'll have the inside for the triple right-hander. 16, 17. Matthew holds on to it, but Fass holding it around the outside. Great stuff. Into turn 19, and Matthew gets the position. But Fass will get DRS coming down the pit straight, and now Kimi's really involved in this. He's right behind Alpine and being sandwiched, not too far behind as well. Fass, he gets DRS. Matthew moves to the inside. How desperate of a move will this be? It'll be nice and calm. I have to say, Matthew got an excellent exit out of turn 20. Pulled out a small margin to the Brazilian, and he's able to hold on to P1 through the S's. Matthew gets a little bit of an advantage because he doesn't have to put up with the dirty air. You can see it there. Just pulling away, streaking away in the second sector. Getting all of that great downforce with the clear air. And the driver's behind having to put up with the dirty air. Kimi's lost a little bit of time. The gap has opened up between him and Alpum in comparison to last lap. He might try and make a move here, being sandwiched into turn 12. He'll get DRS. Oh, is he close enough? Not quite. And Kimi gets DRS as well. Sector 2 yellow flag, so it doesn't appear to be anything. Fass, is he close enough? No, he's not. Matthew holds on to the lead for now. Absolutely excellent stuff here. So we've got a 5-way battle for first place, it seems. And we've still got some action in the midfield that we can look at as well. I'll keep an eye on Fass, though, in the top 3. Coming through turn 16, 17 and 18. Now, it's all about this corner exit. Fass really needs to try and get a good corner exit. And he does. Matthew Dernier just running slightly on the curb. It's just not given him a very good run out of the corner. He defends the inside line. And Matthew moves back to the right-hand side just to try and open the corner up. And Alpum's in the pits. That's a very early stop onto the medium tyre. I do believe from the previous night's stream that I did for Pacific Series, the undercut is stupidly powerful around this circuit. So it may work out in his favour, but he needs to make sure the tyres make it to the end of the race. Fass has a horrible run through turns 8 and 9, and in turn loses a bit of time to Matthew. Kimi still hanging on to that position, which is now P3 as Alpum has pitted. Being sandwiched, absolutely hounding the back of him, but Kimi will now no longer have DRS. He's now vulnerable to the racing point. Is Fass close enough to make a move here? No, he's not. Kimi, is he in trouble here? He might be. Down the inside goes Being Sandwich. They're side by side. And he gets the position. Well done from Being Sandwich. As Sector 3 yellow flags, that's Laquito. He's made a mistake and he's got wing damage as well. He's trying to keep still. Trying not to drive onto the circuit. But he needs to get moving soon. I'm sure the session will disqualify him if he doesn't just at least back it up. Ah, there we go. He's been disqualified from the session. Don't worry, guys. The car will ghost. Sector 3 yellow flags. So he'll find a marshal's post. Go into the pits. Andre in. Matthew in. Bean Sandwich in as well. I have to say that I thought these stops would be quite early. They might be trying a 2-stop. Andre definitely isn't. He's on the hard tyre. He'll be trying to go to the end of the race. They might be trying a 2-stop, but I'm pretty sure it's a 1-stop around here. Pretty sure. Soft to medium. But yeah, very early in the pits. I think that's because they're trying to cover off Alpum. Because you can see here, Matthew was leading. Alpum was in 3rd place. Now Alpum is in front of him. They're trying to cover off his undercut. So this might be a good strategy call from the Ferrari team and Matthew Donia to come in and cover off Alpum's undercut. Because now they're only a second behind Alpum. Only a second. It could be a lot worse. If they stayed out, it probably would be a lot worse. Now Fass, what does he do? Does he pit in? Does he try and cover Matthew and Alpum? Or does he try to run long? Wait for a potential safety car, maybe. Coming through the triple right-hander into turn 19. Let's have a look, see. Does he go in? Yes, he is. Coming into the pit lane. Hard on the brakes and he meets the braking board nicely. Racer gets a 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. As Racer comes into the pits, he's following Fass and very slow into the pit lane. He desperately doesn't want to get a penalty. Now, where does Fass come out in the grand scheme of things? He will lose out to Alpum and he'll lose out to Matthew as well. And Being Sandwich. It seems not quite. Fass does get out in front of Being Sandwich. But he's behind Matthew and critically behind Alpum. But in Fass's favour, he's on 2 lap fresher mediums, and that may prove critical towards the end of the race, when tyre wear really does become a factor. So there you go. So your effective race leader is now Alpum, with Matthew Dania in 2nd place, then BRT Fass in 3rd, with Bean Sandwich in 4th. And these guys, I imagine, will be trying to make it to the end of the race. Matthew completely defenseless without DRS. Moves to the inside, does Fass, and gets the position. Moves himself into provisional P2. But now Alpum's got a bit of traffic in the form of Mick McCoat, currently in 5th place, the Toro Rosso driver. Where will he look? To the outside into turn 19. He'll have better grip, and very, very committed is Alpum. Awesome overtake around the outside. Well done, and well conducted as well. From both drivers, not just Alpum, but also Mick McCoat. JFD into the pits as well, Latouf into the pits. I'm guessing Captain Schmeck will come in next lap. And now Alpum has opened up a 2-second lead over Fass. Just that undercut. That's how powerful the undercut is around this circuit. And he's opened up that 2-second margin. So Fassa's got some work to do to try and catch up and then try and overtake him as well. But Racer, another 3-second time penalty. Let's see, we'll go into the midfield because I'm pretty sure there's something going on here. Latoute makes a move on Flavius. He slots back down to 11th place. Latoute hunting down Racer, currently occupying the 9th. Currently occupying 9th place. Excuse me. Andre in 8th place, and we've got 2 drivers ahead who still need to make pit stops. So potentially Andre is in 6th right now, which is an awesome bit of driving from him. I guess it'll just depend where Kimi and Captain Schmeg come out. Kimi staying out lap 9 now. Schmeg into the pits as I thought he would be, as his teammate pitted the lap before. So Alpine will slot himself into 2nd, Fass into 3rd, Macedonia in 4th. Onto the medium tyre he will go, and out of the pits. Where will he come out? Around his teammate, I imagine. Just check the dots on the mini map. There he is. He comes out in front of Racer. Well done. Or actually, oh! I just noticed that. I noticed the 2 cars coming closer and closer together. I thought there might have been something. There was. Luckily, there wasn't any contact, or at least I didn't see any contact. Andre gets a 3-second time penalty, cutting one of the corners in the S's. Ah, dearie me. So Andre moves himself up into 7th place. On the hard tyre, though, Captain Schmeg on the medium tyre. Can he keep up? Can he outpace Andre in the Red Bull? Well, he's got DRS. He's chucked it up into overtake. He might be looking for a move here. Into turn 12, down the inside. He's looking, he's committing. But he can't hold it. Andre getting the power down. Oh, a little bit of ghosting, but that's okay. Into turn 15, you can see drivers use a very wide line to try and open up the corner. Some drivers tend to send it down the inside into 15. That could have been something that Captain Schmeg could have tried. But Kimi coming out of the pits after doing 10 laps on the soft tyre, comes in onto the mediums, and where does he come out? Oh, this might be a drag. No. Kimi's out in front of his teammate as well. Schmeg, will he look to the inside into turn 1? He will. Does he get the position? Yes, he does, but can Andre get the switch back? No, he can't. Schmeg moves himself into P7. Now we got this excellent aerial shot of the S's. You can see the 2 drivers driving through the first sector and into turn 7s, 8 and 9. Very cool aerial shot. I wish they could use that more often in the game. Very cool to watch. We also got a battle behind Racer, Latouf and Mick McCoat. Mick McCoat doing the 2-stop strategy, it seems. He's on a fresh set of soft compound tyres. He's just trying to push as hard as he can. Doesn't really want to worry about saving the tyre or anything like that. As Latouf makes a move on Racer, into P9 he goes. How hard will Racer fight this into turn 13? Oh, he keeps his nose in there, and there's contact, in fact, between the 2. Into turn 15, will he send it here? No, he won't. But Racer looking racy at this stage of the race. Oh, but runs wide. Big understeer moment at corner exit, and in turn loses time to Latouf. And now he has Mick McCoat all over the back of him. DRS open for both drivers, but Mick has got a far better slipstream. He will move to the inside. As we got sector 3 yellow flags, that's a McLaren, it's Tifosi. Oh, stop driving too far backwards, otherwise you'll get disqualified. He does well. Captain Schmeg gets a 3-second time penalty. Multiple warnings. There we go. Racer, another 3-second time penalty to his name. Seems everything's settled down a little bit. Might have something going on here though. Kimi, JFD, Red Bull and Ferrari. Tifosi has retired from the session in the pit lane. He's had enough. So both McLarens are out and will not score points here at the United States. Kimi looks very good at the moment. On the freshest mediums out of anyone here. JFD's got a lot of work to do to try and keep the Red Bull behind. He takes a defensive line through 15. Kimi isn't really able to maximise on it. He's just... He can't... he can't maximise on it. He can't really make any sort of move on JFD. There's no real overtaking opportunity through the triple right-hander. So... JFD successfully holding on to the position for now. He gets an excellent exit out of the final corner as well, so Kimi won't be able to make a move into turn 1. Hard on the brake, second gear. I wonder how much time, as Matthew gets a 3-second time penalty. I think that's the first of the leaders getting a penalty. And we're just below the halfway mark in this race. So the top 4, top 5 have done well to minimise penalties so far. Matthew being the first 13 laps in. Let's see. I'm sure Kimi is going to make a move here. He'll get DRS. He's gotten an awesome launch out of turn 11. LAS purple, a 3-second time penalty. But here we go. Kimi will look most likely to the inside. Oh, great camera shot. Okay, Masters. JFD defends the inside line, but it's to no avail. Kimi moves himself into P5. An excellent drive from the Red Bull driver. Qualifying 4th, technically 3rd, and he's still fighting amongst the top 5 against very, very stiff competition. Very strong competition. Being Sandwich now looking very good as well. Him and Matthew are on the same strategy, but being Sandwich, he's got DRS, so he's able to gain on Matt. Try and challenge that P3. Through the S's. It'll be interesting to see how these guys operate themselves on this track as well in the race trim. You can see here with being Sandwich, he's using mode 1. I typically use mode 0 for the most part through that first sector. I don't really see the need of using any ERS, as Racer gets a 3-second time penalty. Mode 1 through turn 11, then on the back straight. Switches up to mode 4, then once he gets DRS, he switches back to mode 3. He's now moved it back to mode 4, then all the way back to mode 0. Into turn 12, Matthew defended the inside line, so he wasn't able to get past. Then mode 0 through the 3rd sector, I imagine, yeah, a lot of drivers will be using mode 0 through here. There's absolutely no reason to use any ERS, but he uses mode 1 through here. So it seems with Bean, he wants to use a little bit of ERS in the faster sections, like sector 1, the S's, and through the triple right-hander. Oh, Bean just randomly swerving on the straight. Is he annoyed with himself? I wonder. Does he feel like he's got way better pace than the Ferrari, he just can't find a way past? Maybe. But it's great stuff between these two. Go further back, we've got a bit of action. We've got Andre, Latour, Mick McCoat and Racer, P8, 9, 10 and 11. How does it look in the Constructors wise? I'll have a look for Constructors Championship. I'll keep an eye on this. Actually, keep an eye on that. Let's have a look-see for constructors. Because I honestly haven't been paying too much attention to it, but it should be brought up to attention. Constructors Championship. It's a fairly close fight, actually, between Racing Point and Mercedes. Racing Point leading on 499, the Mercedes on 486. Now, it's going to take a massive blow for Mercedes because Matthias isn't here, and they don't have a reserve driver in his place. So Fass is doing a lot of work at the moment for the Constructors' Championship. But if they stay as they are, let's see, 25 points, and I think it's 12. So it's 37 points beating out 18. So it's going to be a 19-point swing in Racing Point's favour. And that will open it up, if I do some quick math. 19 points. It'll be 33-point advantage for Racing Point. 33-point advantage for Racing Point. Ugh, dearie me. Ferrari are currently in excuse me. Ferrari are currently in P3 on 377, and Alfa Romeo in a very healthy P4 on 160. Pretty much been the best of the rest. Red Bull are in P5 on 104. So yeah, the battle for the constructors is still very much on. It will probably still go on until the final round. But here in America, Mercedes will take a massive blow, simply because of Matthias' absence. But it seems now that Bean Sandwich is ready to commit to a move. He forces himself down the inside. He's having none of it now. Into P3 he goes. Can Matthew get a switchback? Oh, he got loose, very loose. At corner exit, the car was sideways. I saw a glimpse of that. It's fairly obvious that car was very sideways. Oh my word. And he slots himself down into P4. Sandwich, a gutsy move down the inside, but he made it work. He was having none of it anymore. No more of that outside crap. Down the inside. Moves himself into the podium place of P3. Very nice. Let's go back to this, shall we? This battle. Andre has lost out to Le2. He's not too far behind though, so he'll get DRS coming onto the pit straight. Oh, but he doesn't look too good in comparison. He's in a bit of a mess at the moment through turn 19. Down the pit straight, and you can see that, just getting that corner exit speed right. All good. So what I'm here for? I should be talking more about the Constructors' Championship. It's just the Drivers' Championship is that interesting. It's only a 5-point margin between the two. And with only 2 rounds remaining, it will most likely go to the final round at Abu Dhabi. So... let's have a look-see. Battle for P5. Oh, dearie me. There we go. JFD and ASF Kimi. So, JFD hasn't fallen away from the Red Bull. He's got good speed. And I think at this stage, I think JFD, if he was just thinking nice and smartly, he would just recognise that his battle is with him, within himself and Kimi. So he needs to play a sort of long game. Just sort of put Kimi under pressure, but don't wear your tyres out, to save a little bit of fuel, save a little bit of ERS, and have it for the end game, for the final 5 laps. As Matthew gets another 3-second time penalty. Okay. It's probably for the best for the Ferrari man, just to focus on Kimi, but not attack him immediately. He just needs to wait, he needs to be patient. He does have Captain Schmeck behind. He's only 3.5 seconds behind. It's been a good day in the office for the Alfa Romeo team as Mick comes in for his final stop off the soft tyre. Let's have a look-see. Yeah, look at this. Like, Latoub only up 1, but it doesn't describe how well he has driven in this race so far. He's driven very well. And Captain Schmeck, his teammate, up 5 positions from 12th all the way up to 7th place. It's been awesome for the Alfa Romeo team. Definitely the big movers up the field, as well as JFD. He's moved up 2 positions from 8th to 6th. And Bean Sandwich obviously having fantastic speed as he demonstrated in qualifying, but ultimately getting a 5 grid place penalty because of the contact he made with Laquito at turn 11. He's moved up 4 positions into P3, so a couple of movers up the field. Some of the worst off, unfortunately, for these guys, Racer and LAS Purple. Both of them having relatively well qualifying sessions. Racer in P6, qualified 7th, but because of the grid place penalty, he started 6th. He's down 4 positions in LAS Purple from 5th all the way down to 11th. But races, Grand Prix are like that. You have your good ones, you have your bad ones. You sometimes have a really awesome qualifying session, but the race is horrible. Or you have a really horrible qualifying session and the race is awesome. As Captain Schmeg gets a 3-second time penalty. May prove critical if he's got enough speed to catch up to these two. He will need to do a lot of work to try and stay in front of those two because of the penalties he's accumulating. Let's see. Back up to this. JFD, he's still hanging on. Just hanging in there. That's all he needs to do. It's 2 AM for me, but hello. Hello there. Just aren't able to get to sleep. Just watch some Formula 1 stuff. Race has been fairly okay so far. Qualifying was a bit dramatic. Start of the race was a bit dramatic. Haven't missed on too much. Hopefully the field would at some stage bunch up again and we get some more action. But at this stage, it's sort of calmed down as Matthew locks up into turn 13. Oh, hello. So JFD, he's in a good place. He's willing to fight for this now. He just has to be careful. He's got plenty of racing to do, but he's going to have a look here down the inside of turn 15. Oh, Kimmy goes wide. I think he was just trying to compensate for JFD being on the apex. Trying to give him space. Excuse me, I am losing my voice. Kimmy trying to open that up as much as he can, and he's run wide at turn 15. DRS open again. You can see there, Kimmy's done well to manage his ERS as well. Both of them have done relatively well. So they're both setting up for a sort of an endgame battle with about 5 to go, I'm imagining. Coming through the yeses. This is where JFD will lose a bit of time, I imagine. Oh, but Kimmy has a horrible run through turn 6, and in turn JFD has a horrible run through turn 7. JFD could have really maximised on that. Fortunately, he couldn't. Kimmy's just able to pull away just a little bit. Racer, 3-second time penalty. Another one to his name. Go back to this. Matthew Dernier and Bean Sandwich. Matthew's not giving up on this, and nor should he. He's trying to fight hard, try and get that 3rd place. But I think Bean Sandwich is clean on penalties, I think. I'll check in just a moment. JFD hanging on. Oh, sorry, Kimmy hanging on to P5, JFD hanging on to the tail of Kimmy in P6. Tell you what, I'll have a look at penalties right now. So Alpoon has got absolutely no warnings. What the hell? Fass has got 2 warnings but no penalty. Bean Sandwich has got 3 warnings but apparently no penalty. And Matthew's got 6 seconds, if I'm aware. He does have 6 seconds. Kimmy has got nothing. JFD has got nothing as well. Captain Schmeg has got 6 seconds. Latoupe has got nothing. Andre has 1, 2. He's got 6 seconds. What about Racer? Oh my goodness me. 12, 15 seconds. So he won't get disqualified yet. He will soon though. Andre gets a 3-second time penalty while that was going on. Deary me. KFD through turn 11. Where will he look? I'm sure he's going to have a look. He's gaining and gaining and gaining and gaining. He looks to the inside. It'll be a very straightforward move as well. Into P5. Can Kimi fight back? He tries to get a switch back, but he can't quite put the power down. Ooh. And Andre making a move on Latouf as well. But ultimately, penalties will step in and will sort out this battle. But it's good to see that they're fighting it out on circuit. They're still willing to fight it out on circuit. Tell you what, I've been so... Oh, as Kimi gets a 3-second time penalty. Okay, and JFD still has none. So that might be that battle done and dusted between these two. Might. You never know with this track. It is easy to gather warnings. Like I said, through the first sector in those S's, really easy. Stupidly easy to gather warnings. And in turn, collecting penalties. Through turn 2. Racer currently in the top 10, but he might lose out on that because of... Oh my word, that car does not look comfortable. I will admit, I'm not a fan of this circuit. Racing on it, at least. That first sector is just... Oh, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible to go through. I understand these drivers' pain, having to negotiate that for 28 laps. I'm actually... But one thing I'm really surprised and pleased to see is that no one's had an accident through the first sector. I've seen it a couple of times through that first sector. Just the back end stepping out and you're not able to catch it and you create an accident. It's very easy to do. And no safety cars either. It's been... Oh, well, one virtual safety car, but that's about it. It's been very clean. Excuse me, I am losing my... I am losing my voice, dearie me. And I haven't even talked about the leaders this entire time. Nothing. That's because they're not doing anything. I still haven't talked about the leaders. Alpine is leading. Flavius gets a 3-second time penalty, but Alpine is leading. Both of these drivers have no penalties next to their name. They've been stupidly clean all race, and purple a 3-second time penalty. Alpine leading by 3.6 seconds. We got a yellow in sector 2. I think that was just Snell. I think he just made a mistake. No, it couldn't have been. Who was it then? Definitely someone. Don't know who it was. Alpine leading by 3.6 seconds now, with Fass in P2. So it will be a 7-point swing in Alpine's favour. And I might be wrong, but I think Alpine has got fastest lap as well. So it's an 8-point swing in Alpine's favour, which will mean Alpine will get the championship lead once again, but by only 2 points. It is very close between these two for the driver's title. And I think after this round, Matthew Dernier will be mathematically unable to win the championship. So it's been a great campaign for this guy in the Ferrari. And in fact, he's coming into the pit lane. Why? I mean, yeah, you can put on a set of softs and try and set fastest lap, but I mean, it could work out. But JFD and Kimi don't have penalties. Oh, well, Kimi has 3. JFD doesn't. And he moves himself up into P4 now, so this battle for what was formerly P5 is now P4 with 5 laps to go. So Dernier, he's going to throw another spanner into the works. He's going to try and get fastest lap and close the gap up between Alpine and Fass in the Drivers' Championship. Try and take that fastest lap away from Alpine, which will mean only a 7-point swing in Alpine's favour. With a 5-point gap, it will mean 2 points going into Brazil. Oh yeah, the battles in these video games are way better than the ones in real life. Real life ones are so boring. It's only because these cars are equal. They're battling through driver skill, not through car performance. What's been going on? This race has been going on. Not too much has happened though. One virtual safety car, dramatic start, dramatic qualifying as well. Nothing too noteworthy. Some nice racing though. There's some really good racing in this stream that you can watch. Some good side-by-side action, a bit of contact here and there, but sort of friendly contact. Just, you know, rubbing is racing sort of contact. So, let's see how Matthew Dernier conducts himself around this track. He's going to try and set fastest lap. That's his ultimate goal. Through turn 1 into turn 2. He's in hot lap mode. Now he's going to gain a lot of time on Kimi. Through this sector particularly. The mechanical grip and the downforce that he gets from the clear air. Look at that. That is enormous amount of time he has gained. Now Kimi, he will hold him up through this little bit here, through turn 9 into turns 10 and 11. He will hold him up, but ultimately, as Racer gets another 3-second penalty, Matthew will get DRS and he will slingshot on by Kimi. Into overtake mode, DRS is open. Kimi doesn't have DRS, interesting. He'll look to the outside, 50 meter board, hard on the brakes. Oh, and Kimi fights, good to see. Oh, in fact, did he push him out? Or was that sort of an invasive maneuver for Matthew, just sort of, maybe he lost the back end and went on to the runoff area. I'm not sure, the camera angle wasn't very good. Oh! Okay. So obviously Matthew feels like he's done something wrong during that. He's relinquished the position. In fact, he might have gotten an illegal overtake warning. That might explain it a bit better. Because it didn't seem like Matthew did something like wrong enough for him to say, oh, I'm sorry, I should give that back. From my point of view anyway, it could have been just an illegal overtake with him overtaking Kimi around the outside on the runoff area. That could have been what it was, and he had to actually stop and let him on by to stop himself getting a penalty. I'm sure he'll explain that in the Discord chat after the race. But Matthew, he's got his teammate in front. Teammate won't be a problem, you know. He'll let him go. There we go. Nice and easy. But ultimately, I think JFD will get the position back anyway because of penalties. JFD has driven really well. He's got no penalties, so it seems like it's going to be P4 for Ferrari. And Matthew might lose out to Kimi, perhaps. Well, Kimi's got 3, Matthew's got 6, so maybe not to Kimi, but I think he will lose out to his teammate. But now Matthew, he'll be setting up to set flying lap, most likely on lap 27. Try and beat Alpine's current fastest lap. Try and get that one extra point. We've got some battling here for P8. Now this is already settled, as Racer has got a million penalties next to his name. There we go, Matthew. Fastest lap. On that lap alone, well done. So he snags that one extra point. Here comes Andre. It's a nice little battle to watch, I have to say. Through turn 1. Into the S's. Racer still leads this little group. Through the S's, he might gain a little bit of time here. Oh, but Racer, big understeer. And Andre cutting the corner too much. That's a 3-second time penalty. And LAS purple 3 seconds as well. I don't know how many positions Racer will lose because of his penalties. I imagine it's quite a few. Unfortunately for him. And now Kimi. He's still looking racy. He's still wanting to fight JFD. He's not going to give up. I like it. He is all over the back of the Ferrari. And he'll have one lap to try and catch him and overtake him. And hopefully, for his sake, JFD will get a penalty. But JFD has driven absolutely superbly. Currently has kept his penalties to a minimum. To 0, in fact. But here we go, Kimi, DRS open. He'll look to the inside at turn 1, I imagine. Does he have a good enough run? No, he doesn't. JFD holds on to P5 for now. We'll switch off these two. Go back up. Because we haven't really given these guys enough screen time, to be honest. Wait a minute. He is losing a lot of time to Fass. Like a lot of time. Those tyres must be absolutely dead. 22 laps he's done on them. For his sake, he hopes that he doesn't get a puncture. But it seems like he won't. Through the final corner, 1.9 seconds now. He is being gentle. He really doesn't want to get a puncture. Through the final corner. And he will win the United States Grand Prix. Fass will come home in P2. Alpine will now take the championship lead heading into Brazil. Bean Sandwich will come home in P3. A superb day for Racing Point. After getting a 5-grid place penalty in qualifying, he recovers to finish on the podium. Matthew Dernier got sector 3 yellow flags, so I've got to take a look at that. He comes home potentially P4, but I think his teammate will take it away from him. He will. In fact, Kimi gets him as well. Okay, there we go. So Matthew goes down to P6. Captain Schmeg will finish P7. For now, Latoub comes home in 8th place. So 7th and 8th for the Alfa Romeo team. Andre will finish in 9th. Racer won't hang on to 10th. Mick McCoat takes it away from him. Elias Purple in 12th. And I imagine Sanel will round out the finishing drivers. So Racer, with the amount of penalties he got, he slots down outside of the points. Wow. Well done to Alpine. He has recovered the championship lead with 2 rounds to go. Oh boy. And JFD, a superb drive from him, I have to say. Superb drive from 8th to 4th. Same with being sandwiched from 7th to 3rd. Captain Schmeg from 12th to 7th. Great day for the Alfa Romeo team. So many drivers of the day, really. I can't really pick one. But from pole position and making an excellent call in regards to the pit stops, Alp wins the United States Grand Prix with BRT Fass in 2nd place and Bean Sandwich in 3rd. This championship is definitely going to go down to the wire. And we have got... Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But here are your unofficial results until further steward intervention. Alpine wins with Fass in 2nd, Bean Sandwich in 3rd, and JFD in 4th. Kimi in 5th place after a superb qualifying session. He still finishes in the top 5, beating his teammate as well, who's been very good in this season, Andre. He comes home in 9th. Matthew Dernier comes home in 6th place after a superb race. He probably could have stayed out and finished in 4th, but he decided to come in and he got fastest lap. He took fastest lap away from Alpine. Captain Schmeg, an excellent drive from 12th to 7th. Latouf in 8th, Andre in 9th, and Mick McCoat gets a point in 10th place. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. 2 points. 2 rounds to go, and 2 drivers fighting it out for the Drivers' Championship. This championship has seriously gone to another level. It's going to be epic, and we've got 2 really different and really awesome racetracks, at least in this game, to go to. And the first of which is one of the most legendary racetracks in all of Formula One. Undoubtedly, one of the most legendary racetracks in all of Formula One. Autodromo José Carlos Pache. We're going to Interlagos, Brazil, for the Brazilian Grand Prix. And that is guaranteed to be a classic. It's going to be an awesome race in Brazil. And for Fass, he's got a bit of an advantage. It is his home circuit. I expect it's going to be an epic display from him and the Mercedes team at Interlagos. But until then, I've been the Smeg. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you all next week at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Good night.